So
Woo-hoo.
we have a peep on a rope today.
It's a peep on a rope. That's your squeaky dog toy of the day.
So today we've got a different topic. Today we're talking about things that you may not know that will get you kicked off a cruise ship.
How about
And
that?
we're not going to talk about fighting, and we're not going to talk about drugs, and we're not going to talk about smoking. These are other things that you may not know will probably get you kicked off a cruise ship.
Oh,
So let's start with our song.
ready?
Mm-hmm.
Rise and shine.
Help
Join
me
us
put
for a
Chet
lap-
in the corner
that-
this
that-
morning. Sea leg journey crew.
I'm not squeaking no toy to that. We got to sing this song right. I don't know what version you're singing this morning. Rise and shine.
Help
Join us.
me give
for-
Chet a spanking this morning. Sea leg journey crew.
I'm not singing that. Oh, well, we'll move on
Rise.
then.
Let's go.
Rise and shine. Join
Give
us.
for a
Left
lap
this
this
morning.
morning.
Sea leg journey crew. Well, I'll tell you what.
You didn't trust me that time, did you?
We just needed a kazoo to go along with that, and a banjo, and it would have been all set.
Well, first of all, we want to say good morning to everybody out there that's driving.
Yes, if you're driving to work, we're going to try to help you stay between the lines. How about that?
Stay between the lines.
Stay in your lane.
Stay
in your lane.
lane. We want you to stay in your lane. We want to thank you for joining us this morning. Also to everybody that's trying to get dressed and out the door, and they're still listening as well, and they're not in the
Yeah, if you're getting dressed this
in the
morning, my
chat.
word of advice is put your pants on one leg at a time. Free information right here from Sea Leg Journeys.
So you probably noticed we're changing up the order of the way we do things in the morning show, and that's because we're having a hard time getting everything in. So we're switching it up the order.
Yeah.
So today's positive thought goes along with things that about breaking rules and things. So today's positive thought comes to us from Lou Holtz. He has 3 rules for life. The first one is always do the right thing. The second one is always do the best that you can. And the third one is always show people that you care.
How about that?
How about that? Well, now
Yeah.
let's say good morning to everybody that's joining us in the chat.
Who is in the chat this morning? I know who the first one was because they got here just before we did.
The Gaylords, the glorious Gaylords are in the house.
Good morning, Gaylords. Woohoo! You get a
And-
squeaky toy for being the first one in here this morning. That's what we'll start doing.
And we also have the Z Show. Cruise Fun is in the house with us this morning.
Good morning, Z-Man. Who
And-
else did you say?
That's all I've said so
Oh,
far.
Z-Man. Yeah. Good morning, Z-Man.
And the lovely Antoinette at Fun. That's always having fun.
That's right. She had fun at Princess Katie the other day.
That's right. She did. And Travel Mobile from Mobile, Alabama.
Good morning, Travel Mobile.
And PSV Odyssey.
How about that? Paul Vines in the house. Good
Yes.
morning, Paul.
And Law Jones. Law Jones. You gotta read this comment though.
I'm gonna read it.
Everybody else so far has only been saying good morning. Here's Law's comment.
Robin, what kind of over sugar cereal did you have?
So
That's funny.
for those of you that know, I wasn't here yesterday because I went to the doctor, and the doctor has informed me that I have low B12. So I've been trying to get more B12, and I guess that's putting me in a bizarre little mood.
Yeah, I give her like 25 B12 vitamins last night. Here, take this. That was her cereal, Law. It was a bowl full of B12 vitamins. PSV Odyssey says cooking squirrel on a hot plate in your cabin will get you kicked off a cruise. Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's one of our points this morning.
but he's right because you ain't supposed to bring a hot plate and you ain't supposed to bring a squirrel, and you really ain't supposed to cook them in your cabin. 1, 2, 3 strikes, and you're out. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. That's Eddie Lugo Studios, everybody.
Good morning, Eddie. And Law Jones is here with us this morning. Good morning, Law Jones. And we have the lovely Tammy in the house with the. You were supposed to put new batteries in my mouth yesterday.
No, you're supposed to put new batteries in your mouse.
I don't even know where the batteries in this house are. I know where nothing in this house is.
Right now, the batteries in this house are at Walmart still. Tammy says, good morning from Kelly and Tammy's Journey. Good morning, Tammy.
Okay.
So, yeah, our batteries are still at Walmart, or Publix, wherever we're going to get them at.
T is in the house with us this morning. Good morning, T.
T, good morning, T.
And the mouse is just not happy today at all.
Well, I need a battery.
Yeah, well, somebody needs to put a battery in it.
Somebody needs to buy a battery.
Somebody needs to buy a battery.
Somebody's broke.
Somebody's broke. All right.
I have $1. If I spend my $1, I won't have any more $1.
Oh, good grief. Let's get on with those useless facts you got.
Oh, yeah, you got some useless facts for you this morning. Are you ready? The first one is, I'll make this one like a question too. How about that?
Okay.
The average person looks at how many houses before buying one? How many houses does an average person look at before they buy one?
Oh my gosh, I think we looked at 2,000 houses before we bought this one.
Probably closer to 200, but that's but still
felt like 2,000.
Yeah, how many houses did you look at before you bought one? And then I'll tell you if you're average, below average, or like us, way above average.
Way above average. And while y'all are thinking about that, Eddie Lugo wants to know how the weather is here. Let me tell you what, we have gotten so much rain from those tropical storms out in the ocean that it was flooded. I came home in a flood yesterday.
Yeah, we got plenty of water here. I mean, it's drive your canoe to work again today.
And it's standing. So he said so Eddie says that he looked at 35 houses before he bought his house.
Eddie looked at 35. Law Jones looked at 3. How about that? Well, we looked at, like I say, a lot. Oddly enough, we went back to the second house we looked at and bought it.
I don't know if it was the second house.
Yeah, it was. The first one was on the Fish Street, remember? And then we came over here and looked at this one.
Yeah. Oh, we have the Gingers in the house. Good morning, Gingers. So nice to have you with us this
morning.
morning.
Gingers.
The Gaylord said that they looked at 10 houses before they bought one.
10 houses? Well, you know what? Let's see what the average is. The average is 8.
The average is 8.
Average person looks at 8 houses before they buy
Well, we're
one.
above average because we looked at hundreds of houses. Some of them were just drive-bys, but we still went and looked at them.
Yeah, some of them were peeking the windows and some of them were getting a realtor out. But yeah, so 8 houses is the average. Got one more piece of useless information, which really is not useless.
And the Gingers, they looked at 3 houses before they bought their house. The Z Show said he looked at no houses before he bought it.
Did you know that mosquito repellents do not repel? They hide you. That's like a cloaking device. The spray blocks the mosquito sensors so they do not know where you are. Can you imagine that?
How stupid is that?
It's a cloaking device, right?
A cloaking device.
Well, I'll tell you, in the Marine Corps, we used Skin So Soft from Avon.
Yeah.
And it worked great. It also worked on them doggone, kept chiggers away a little bit, and them what people call no-see-ums, we call sand fleas here in Florida, kept them off a lot too. So
when the kids don't want to be sprayed with mosquito spray, or you could even do this with sunscreen too. You can tell them that the mosquito spray is their cloaking device against the mosquitoes, and sunscreen is their cloaking device against the sun and the aliens in outer space.
That's awesome. See, that's the kind of parents we were. Here,
yeah.
It's time for the cloaking device. We made stuff up, made it sound like fun. Oh, it's fun. I'll put it on. Yeah.
Law Jones says that mosquitoes, they hunt by smell.
Yep. You put Skin So Soft on. Not only do you smell good, but you feel good too.
And that's sometimes like perfume and hairspray.
Yeah, that's why they don't fly around me. They fly around you.
I don't wear hairspray because you're allergic. And I don't wear perfume unless you pre-authorized it.
Yeah, I go shopping for her perfumes for her. I find one that don't make my head go whoomp.
Okay, so today we're talking about things that will get you kicked off a cruise ship, and you may not know these things. Well, Chet's going to read the statement from Carnival Cruise Lines first. Where is it? Yeah,
I got this right off of Carnival's little disclaimer pages there in the back that nobody reads.
Wait a minute. The Gaylords say the bug repellent mixed with peanut butter lit on fire. That works too.
Yeah, but now I'm attracting Dobermans and firemen. You give up one for the other. Okay, so this
statement from Carnival.
Right off of Carnival's little website there. It says, Carnival and the master reserve the right to disembark. The master, by the way, is the captain. So Carnival and the captain reserve the right to disembark any unfit guest or any guest whose behavior affects the comfort, enjoyment, safety, or well-being of other guests or crew members. Now that's pretty vague, ain't it? Affecting the comfort, enjoyment, safety, or well-being of other guests or crew members. You can be kicked off the ship.
Law Jones says, Robin, you make B12 look like a lot of fun. Okay, so we have 6.
I'm gonna get me some B12.
We have some 6 points on this. And these are things that you may not have even known. And the last point is directed at a lot of cruise bloggers. So
yeah,
make
if you're
sure
a blogger like us, a channel, I
Mm-hmm.
want to know it.
So make sure you stay in there and listen for number 6 or on the replay. So the first one is offensive jokes. Telling offensive jokes in the presence of minors, crew members, or other passengers can get you kicked off the ship.
So if I sit in my closet and just tell them to myself, I'm okay.
Yeah, if you can get in the closet on a cruise ship.
I couldn't get in my closet because somebody passed a note and it came from under the closet. And I was like, I'm not going in there.
So think about that. Offensive jokes. Well, offensive jokes that's pretty broad.
Yeah.
I mean, some people think offensive jokes are just racial. Some people think they're religious. Some people think they're political.
Fat jokes and skinny jokes
Right.
and tall jokes.
And okay, so the offensive jokes in the presence of minors, that's probably more sexually and racially directed. But think about it. You're sitting at the bar drinking, cutting up, having a good time, and somebody starts telling jokes. Whoa, you better watch what kind of jokes you start telling.
Ain't that something? We live in a culture that's so offended.
Yes,
and
Marsha's dropped in from CME Traveling.
No, that's See Me Traveling.
So, Marsha, I don't know if you caught yesterday that we were joking that there was another channel that kind of accused us of calling you See Me Traveling.
But we do call them See Me Traveling.
I know, but we weren't the first ones. We picked it up off somebody else. But we love the fact that we are now part of why you are called See Me Traveling.
It's kind of fun, though. See Me Traveling. Hey, do you see me traveling?
So, before we get too far into these points, every one of these points, the crew members are trained to hear trigger words and things like that and report them to security. If the crew doesn't report them and something happens, that crew member can be in big trouble. So keep in mind that if you're telling an offensive joke, the bartender is going to be reporting you. So Eddie Lugo says, this is Eddie Lugo's comment.
Oy vey, crew members are everywhere.
Yeah.
Not that I go around talking jokes, but watch out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to be telling a joke to them. They can just see that you're telling a joke and there's a minor sitting 4 feet away that you don't even know is even sitting there because the booth is hiding them.
Yeah, these are things it's vague speech on the cruise line website. But so you just got to be a little more cautious because these things can get you kicked off.
Now, this next one, a passenger recently got kicked off the ship for this.
Yeah.
Potential harmful comments towards yourself or others. Well, we've seen where they're getting in fights, and all that. But you don't even have to get to the fight. All you have to do is say, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to beat them up. And that alone can get you in trouble. And you haven't even gotten to the fight yet. Now, this is the one that really, really, I thought was so interesting. So there was a gentleman sitting at the bar, and everybody at the bar thought it was because he had too much to drink and security came because he needs to kind of not be served anymore. But that's not what it was about. What it was about was he started talking about how him and his wife and their kids, how much money they've spent on board.
A lot of money.
It was a lot of money. And he was just joking. And he said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to pay my onboard credit bill. I might as well just jump overboard. They came, security got him, took him, and he's in a balcony room. So they took him out of his balcony room and put him in an interior stateroom until they arrived at the next port, and they took him and his family off the ship.
Which was Cozumel. And whoever's in your party with you gets kicked off too.
Yeah. So remember, if you break any of these rules, anybody that's in your party gets kicked off the ship with you. So I told Chet, I said, let's look at this. Okay. So I'll just make up a story. Our daughter's graduating college, and I want to take her and 2 of her friends on a cruise as a graduation present, right? And she picks 2 friends. One of her friends does something stupid and breaks one of these rules. I am banned from cruising for life.
They get kicked off at the next port, and boom, done cruising.
I know, right?
So be careful who you take with you on a cruise.
And just joking that you're going to jump overboard or you're going to throw somebody overboard. And this man, he was joking. He was drinking and joking.
It was clearly to everybody sitting around that he was just joking around. And apparently the amount of money that he said was a lot of money he was probably joking about $200 or something, which is not a lot of money. But they took it seriously.
Yes.
So you don't know. And he's probably thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just joking around.
Just joking.
And he's booted off.
Yeah. And if everybody could give us a thumbs up, I remember that today on my own. There was nobody in the chat to remind me. Whoop, whoop.
I didn't remember. I'll give you a squeaky toy, though, for remembering.
So Z-Show, he has a good comment here, too. So let's read his comment.
Z-Man says, wait a minute. Kids should not be at the bar. Now, that's a bad parent.
But you know what? The pool is right there.
Yeah. You're sitting at the bar. The pool's 10 feet away.
Right. So even though you're sitting at the bar telling that offensive joke, that kid that's sitting on the edge of the pool right behind you, you know, I mean, I don't know how many ships there are that the pool is just 10 feet away.
Yeah, there's a bar by every pool.
Or the kid's just walking through.
Yeah.
You know? So our next point number 3 is disrespecting authority. Now, this was also interesting because we saw somebody recently got kicked off a ship for this as well.
Heckling the captain and the officers while they're giving a presentation.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
don't do that.
This young man was in his early 20s, which tells me more than likely this is probably, he hasn't got a lot of drinking experience in his life. He got on a cruise ship and was drinking a little too much. And he was sitting in the front row and they were doing, they're getting back to doing it. They weren't doing it during COVID, but now they're getting back to doing it. And all the senior staff is on the stage and they're introducing who they are, you know, and all the crew members come down the aisles and all this. Well, this young man was sitting in the front or first or second row, wherever, and he was heckling the captain. Yeah. To the point to where he was disrupting the presentation. Security came and ushered him out. The very next day, the next port they were in, he was off the ship, and so were the other 4 guys that were in the cabin with him.
Yep. So there you go. Don't do that. You may get away with it here in America, heckling the police officer, telling him whatever you think about him, and he just has to stand there and take it. But guess what? That ain't America. That's a cruise ship, and they will possibly kick you off.
And, you know, there's a lot of go-to statements that are out there now that are very derogatory. And I'm thinking if you start saying those comments on cruise ships, you're going to be gone too.
Yeah.
And then another young man we saw that got kicked off a cruise ship was heckling the comedian.
Yes, heckling the comedian.
To the point to where the comedian could not do his show.
It disrupted the show, just like the verbiage in here. Your behavior affects the comfort, enjoyment, safety, or well-being of other guests. Well, it affected their enjoyment of the comedian.
Yeah. And that comedian's being paid to entertain, not to battle with a heckler.
That's right.
I mean, 1 or 2 heckler jokes, you almost expect that in a comedy show when you've got people drinking. But this young man never shut up.
And he got kicked off.
He was just constantly. So you got to watch that. Then number 5, safety breaches. Now, this one gets quite interesting. So you think that most people don't breach safety issues except for these fights and this other stuff. We're not talking about the fights and stuff.
Yeah, we're not talking about drugs. We're not talking about trying to smuggle pets and animals.
No. So this is one that people are getting kicked off for now because muster drills are e-muster drills now. All you have to do is go and sign in and then go to your cabin and watch the video.
Yeah, people are going to test the boundaries, aren't they? They won't know if I didn't do it or not.
So what they're doing is they make an announcement and they call you and they say that you have not taken your muster drill. Well, if you insist that, yes, I did do my muster drill, and they're saying, well, you know, okay, we understand you think you did or whatever, but we really need you to do it again. If you stand there and become argumentative or refuse to do it again, you're not even going to leave that port.
Nope.
They're putting you off the ship right then, right there. You forget your cruise. It's over.
Can you imagine that? Just go do it. It's so simple. I don't get it.
And how many people have you seen that, you know, they're drinking, having a good time, and they're late to the muster drill? Well, now imagine Chet and I we said, we did it. We did it. I'm not doing it again. I've been drinking. I'm not doing it again. Okay, well, you getting off the ship. Here's another good comment.
All right, what we got here from the Z Show. That's why I always stay at the adult section of the cruise ship.
Well, and that's great, but sometimes that don't help either. And Jeffrey Schmidt has joined us this morning. Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
And Eddie says, and no refund on.
That's right, Eddie. That's right, Eddie. You do not get your money back for the cruise. You do not get your way paid home. If they drop you in another port, you got to make your own way home. And you don't get a refund. The journeys with the gingers, the puppies are entertaining themselves in the background. They are, ain't they? You should see them back there. Look at that. Look at that.
I think it's so funny that only dog people catch that, or people that don't like dogs.
They're cleaning each other's ears right now. Right?
Well, Joe says he's enjoying the puppies too. What are y'all doing back there?
Oh, they're playing and licking and.
So another thing about breaching safety issues is pulling the fire alarm.
Oh boy, don't do that.
This is happening with kids and drunk people as well. They're just.
Those are the two most common categories there, is the drunk people and the kids pulling the fire alarm. And guess what? If your kid pulls the fire alarm, you and your kids will be set off at the next port.
And refusing to abide by the rules, this may include the cruise line's private islands as well.
Oh, yes.
Now think about all the rules there are, okay? Let's do something stupid. You want to go down the slide, right? And he's telling you have to wait because the person in front of you needs to get so far down the slide before the next person goes. Okay, so the first time the lifeguard, he may give you a warning. He may be like, you know what? Next time you really need to wait until I tell you. And let's look at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, same way. Well, what if this is the second or third time that you're up there on that slide and you're refusing to listen to him?
Oh, boy. Probably not going to go well.
Or we've even heard lifeguards yell at kids about putting on the life jacket, not floating on top of the life jacket.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. How many parents are guilty of going, you can't tell my kid what to do?
Well, guess what? Woo! We can put you and your kid off the ship.
Yeah, so, don't pull that one either. I don't think they like that either.
Don't pull that. You can't talk to my kid that way, because let me tell you what, if that crew member or whatever is telling your kid over and over again to stop doing it, you better not be the parent saying you can't tell my kid that. You better be apologizing really fast, hoping they don't put you and your family off that ship in some other country. Oh, and by the way, your kids don't have passports.
Uh-oh.
Because you cannot fly into the United States without a passport.
Yeah, don't put yourself in trouble over something like that.
It's just not worth it.
Just be considerate of other people. If you're considerate of other people and just go there to have a good time and not step on nobody else's toes.
Yeah.
And everything will be great.
Here's a good comment from Travel Mobile.
Travel Mobile says, we had a kid calling a man overboard.
In 2016. And he probably wasn't overboard, right?
Oh, wow.
And that's a safety breach.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't do that.
Yeah, nowadays that can get you.
Now that can get you off that ship.
Yeah, that's almost like pulling a fire alarm in a way. Huh?
That goes back to the offensive joke.
Yeah.
Or the potentially comment that.
Well, that's more of a safety hazard too. You got a whole crew running down.
Right. It's got everything in it. It's got the offensive joke. That's offensive.
They might stop that ship and turn that ship around, put lifeboats out, and all
You've
this
got the potentially harmful comment. And then you've got a safety breach. I mean, come on. There's Jeffrey's comment.
Jeffrey says, it seems it's happening more frequently. The last cruise we were on in July, the captain made the announcement that 414 cruisers still required to take the e-muster. Jeffrey, almost every cruise we've been on, lately, it's been in the hundreds. 200, 300, 400 people have not done their thing. In fact, one ship we didn't sail until 6 o'clock.
I know, we could not sail until 6 o'clock at night because people did not take their e-muster. They didn't do their muster drill, and the pilot boat that was supposed to pilot us out got put on another assignment, and so we had to wait until another pilot boat was available to leave the port.
And that was during COVID, and there was only like 50% people on the ship.
Go figure, right? Okay, so now this is point number 6. This is the point that we wanted all the YouTube channels in here to listen to.
Yeah, this is important.
This is about filming.
Yes.
Filming, and there are 3 main points to this. You have been instructed to stop filming.
For whatever reason. You're filming the show. You're filming live music.
You're filming a fight.
Yeah.
You're filming crew members doing something.
If you're instructed by the crew or the officers to stop filming, just stop filming.
Now, I was filming recently on a ship, and they were doing a little drill about getting the lifeboats down and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up with my camera and I said, "May I film?" And they're like, "Absolutely not."
So
it's like, no problem. I was out of there like a bullet.
That's right.
But if I would have stood there and filming, and I would have come over and said, "Ma'am, you can't film this," and I was filming it anyway, I'm now kicked off the ship.
Yeah, you are in jeopardy of being kicked off the ship.
And then the other point is you've been in. I said that. Okay, so now this is one that bloggers really need to start paying attention to, because I really think the cruise lines pretty soon are going to start cracking down on this one. You are filming something that you've been instructed prior to the performance, prior to the comedian, prior to anything. This show cannot be filmed. And that's the shows in the theater. That's the comedian. They all say it. You can take photos without the flash on, but there'll be no video or audio recording. Well, I've seen thousands of channels putting out on their YouTube channel part of the show, and they've said in the beginning there'll be no audio or video recording. So they're not really cracking down on that, quote unquote, yet. Wait until YouTube starts cracking down on that.
Yep. The next thing is if you're filming, here in America, we can film anywhere in public. And if somebody says don't film here, you can say pound sand.
Right.
You're in the public, we can film in the public.
Mm-hmm.
But on the cruise ship, if somebody says, "Hey, don't be filming me," just turn the camera some other direction.
So
don't film them.
Let's say that there's a lady sitting on the edge of the pool, and you're not filming her. You're filming the sail away party, because we've recently filmed the sail away party. Yep. And we put a video up about it, and we're just randomly scanning the crowd for the sail away party. And the lady sitting on the edge of the pool says, "Stop filming me." And I say, "Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, I wasn't filming you." If she thinks I'm filming her, whether I'm filming her or not, all she has to do is think I'm filming her. She can complain. And now I'm kicked off the ship. Instead of saying, "I am so sorry, ma'am, I wasn't filming you, but I'll make sure that I don't direct my camera in your direction anymore. And I make sure that camera is pointed in a totally different direction," then I'm okay. But if it looks like I'm still filming her.
We always make sure, if you've seen some of our films where we are talking to people, on one of our last videos, we're talking to people who are eating at the seafood shack. We say, "Hey, would you like to be on YouTube? We film you, and we just want to ask you what you ate and if you liked it or not." And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, great." If they go, "No, we don't want to do that," then we move
walk away. And we have had people
where
we've asked them, they were doing something, and we've asked them, "Hey," and I always do it with minors. Always. There was a young man on a flow rider,
yeah.
And his dad was sitting there, and I said, "Sir, do you mind if I film your child?" And the boy was 16. He said, "Oh no, go ahead. He'd love to see himself on YouTube." You have to make sure that you have permission, especially when it comes to filming a minor that's not your child.
So that's just some tips right there, because we do not want anybody getting kicked off the ship.
No,
we want to have fun.
Don't.
Go have a good time. Let's try to all be respectful of each other and the crew, and think about all having a good time together.
Yes. So we have lots of comments in the chat right now about filming on the cruise ship. So we got a couple of them here. Eddie
Lugo says, even in the recording, you hear the announcement.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
So if you put a recording out there on your channel that says there's no audio or video recording, I mean, come on. You broke the rule, and now all of your viewers know you broke the rule. That's kind of funny.
Oh boy, that's a good one, Eddie. I'm gonna give Eddie a squeaky toy for that one. Jeffrey Schmidt says, "I would comply if told not to film."
Right.
It's all about being respectful. Yes,
absolutely. And Eddie has another comment here.
Is a private company. Yes.
And that private company that owns that private island, these companies have the right to make any rules they want to make. If they make a rule that you can't wear a blue hat in the dining room, you better not be wearing a blue hat in the dining room. It's a rule. Show the captain the film. So that's the thing, that there was one clip that I was watching that a lady was complaining that there was a YouTube vlogger recording her, and she said, "Stop recording me." And she went and complained. Well, the captain came to the cabin and said, "I want to see all your footage," and saw that where the lady said, "Stop filming me," at that point, it was in the film. And then you still kept filming her.
Yeah.
So
Now, if you get there and you don't have her on film, then they got no leg to stand on.
Yep, you got no leg to
So-
stand on. And then Travel Mobile says,
That's a YouTube thing about minors.
yes. Well, and it is a YouTube thing about minors.
Yes.
But you've also got to remember that that parent has rights over their minor child as well. So you got to watch that too. And that was my 2-minute warning that Robin's got to get out of here and go to work.
Oh, and we got to get out of the way for See Me Traveling
Yes.
with Kurt and maybe Marcia today. I like saying that too.
Mhm.
It's See Me Traveling with Kurt and maybe Marcia.
Maybe Marcia today.
Oh, don't forget tonight, SCT Adventures.
Yes.
SCT Adventures. It'll be Kurt, Marcia, and
us. So Kurt and Marcia, See Me Traveling and Sea Lake Journeys, our guest on SCT Adventures show tonight at
7
7
o'clock. 7 o'clock Eastern.
So until next time, we'll see you around the channel.
See you around the channel.